Hello, welcome back to my channel, or welcome for the first time if you are new. I am doing a little bit of a different video than my usual videos. I think this could be really helpful information for some people. For some of you this won't be applicable at all, but this video is really intended for anybody that has a kiddo with a GTube, especially, or their kiddo is going to get a GTube feeding tube. And they aren't sure how to go about going out into the world with this new equipment, for lack of a better term. So this video is really intended for people that have GTubes, or their kiddos have GTubes, or they're getting one. Of course, if you aren't in that position, it might not apply to you. If you want to watch because you're curious, by all means, you can do that. So let me start off by saying hi and introducing who I am. My name is Julie. I am my mom of 4 kiddos. I have William, who is almost 7, Nora, who is 4.5, Lincoln, who is almost 3, and Matthew, who is 20 months, I think. And Matthew has a GTube. He got his in March. Yes, he got his in March, and shortly thereafter I realized that if his GTube came out when we were out and about with my other kids, I didn't have a way to put that back in. And if you don't know, you have a very short window of opportunity to put a GTube back in. When they first get it, you usually need to contact the surgeon that provided, or the surgeon that performed that surgery. But after a little while, they'll clear you and say, you know, if it comes out, you can reinsert it yourself. And you need to do that fast. Like less than an hour, ideally, I think is what it is. But it can close up. I've heard people say it can close up within minutes. So with that in mind, I was like, if this comes out, I don't have something when I'm in Target. I don't have anything to do that with. So I started doing some research on what I would need and what other people put in their tube kits, and I usually found that a lot of people had this little emergency tube kit. So they had this, and then some people had this really big one. And I'll talk about why I have 2 and what the differences are. But I thought it would be helpful if I just showed you both in one video, because not a lot of people have that. So let me go ahead and I'll start with the little one. This is our just emergency GTube kit. I just showed that to you. And this is literally just his button and anything that I would need to replace his button. That's all that's in here. This is my, like, oh no, we are in the car in the middle of nowhere and we broke down and we're gonna be here for a long time. So this is like, we're stranded and I'm gonna need to feed him. So it has a lot more. This I keep in our car. This I keep in our backpack diaper bag. And ideally, anywhere Matthew goes, this is with him. So if I leave him at my sister's house, she has this. She might not be able to replace the GTube, but she could take this to a children's emergency room and be like, help. And they would have everything they need. So let me go ahead and turn the camera around and show you guys what is in each kit. So this is the kit that I keep in our diaper bag, and everybody that keeps him knows exactly where it is in the diaper bag and what to do with it. We'll go ahead and open it. The container I have is one of those like picture containers. The like, oh, what do you call it? It's like a card container, and it comes in a pack of a lot. I'll link it down below. I'm also doing a blog post that will have this linked. Most of the supplies, as a matter of fact, pretty much all of the supplies are from our durable medical supply company. so I won't really link those. Okay, so everything fits nicely in here, as you can see. I'll go ahead and show you what's in here. So this is a 12 milliliter syringe that I keep in here. I don't ever actually use these, but there it is. This is the 5 milliliter syringe, and this is what is used to fill up the balloon for the GTube, which I obviously have his actual tube here. I have several things of split gauze, should we ever need to replace that. And then I just have some like whole pieces of gauze. These aren't split, just in case. I have some lubricant. So if we are needing to replace his G-tube, use that to lubricate the end of the tube. And then I also have, I heard somebody call this a golf tee one time, the blue golf tee. It's a stiffener, so if you don't know, you just put that in here. It makes it stiff so you can insert it a little more easily, because this is obviously very flexible. So I have that. I have an antiseptic towelette. I don't usually use these when placing a G-tube, but just in case. Then I have a Band-Aid, so if the G-tube comes out and for some reason the balloon isn't blowing up, or I'm having some sort of issue with that, I can tape it in place until I can get to an emergency room and get a tube that works. This I kept in here. It came in our G-tube kit, and I actually leave it in here so if I'm doing his G-tube change and he's recently eaten, this can help a little bit. It actually wouldn't be super helpful, because if you've ever done that, it spews like a volcano. It's super fun. This comes with our G-tube kit as well. I've never actually used it, but it has a QR code, and I suspect it has like these little picture here. I suspect I should probably actually scan the QR code and look at what this is, but I suspect it does have some sort of how-to sort of situation, and it has phone numbers and stuff. So like I said, I haven't done it, but I suspect that there's a little like how to replace the G-tube, and that could be really helpful for somebody if they don't know how to do that. So that all just stays here. I keep it, like I said, I keep it in the pocket of our diaper bag, and everybody that watches him knows that. So now we move on to the big one. So this case I got from Target. They have it in their like first aid section. I wanted something that looked medical. So if we were in a car accident or something like that, a first responder would see this and maybe look into it. They're more likely to look into this than just like a plain black bag, right? Let's open this up. You can see what all is in here, and I'll go through each item. It obviously has lots of pockets. I've not even used them all. We'll start over here. I liberated this from the hospital when he first got his G-tube placed. And I don't really use water a ton, but this would be helpful if his tube came out and I needed water to fill the balloon, if I needed water for a flush, something like that. I just keep it in here. I've got it, so I might as well. I have no idea, honestly, if you can get these somewhere else. So if you haven't gotten your G-tube placed, liberate some of these. I have a 60 milliliter syringe here. I use this for flushing. I can also use this if we don't have our pump. I can feed him with this. I can either do a gravity feed, or I can just do like a push syringe feed, and that works well. I have the cap on it. Should I need it? Pro tip: they don't always come with caps, or sometimes you'll lose the caps. I have a jar in our syringe drawer, and I save these. I hoard them. Then I have one thing of his formula that I keep in here. Again, this is like we're stranded on the side of the road and I wasn't planning to have to do a tube feed or another tube feed. And so this has come in handy, not necessarily because I got stranded, but because I've thought that Ryan packed our tube feed stuff and he didn't, and I didn't have any formula. This is just another emergency button change. Has a lot of the similar things that our smaller kit has. It has lubricant, it has split gauze, it has split gauze, it has regular gauze, it has a stiffener, and it has 2 5-milliliter syringes. I don't know why I have 2 in here. And it has a button. So, and it's his current size and all of that. I wanted to have an extra one of his button change kits because I don't always have the backpack with me, so I don't always have this with me. And so I just wanted an extra one. If it were in my car, then I'll have this, because I won't always have the diaper bag. Alright, moving on to this side. We'll start in the front here. It has a small amount of medical tape. I can use it to tape his gauze. I can use it to tape his button in place if I can't get the balloon to inflate. The only thing that I've actually used this for is my brother-in-law was making, for the solar eclipse, he was making a solar filter. We used the tape to tape a lens onto some cardboard. That's what I've used that for. I use this at home, but I haven't used it for my kit. I have another 12 milliliter syringe. Again, I don't actually use these. I just stuck it in here. Another one of these cards. I have one of his feed bags. I've had situations where I had his pump and I had everything but the feed bag. And so this comes in handy. My last thing in here is an extension tube. Again, I've really only used this because I forgot it in our usual feed stuff. And so I have everything but the feed pump I have in here. And that is my goal. I can feed him without a pump. It's sometimes less convenient. Sometimes it's actually more convenient because it's fast. But if I don't have the pump or whatever, then I've got a lot of backup options. We've gone to friends' houses and not planned to stay for dinner, and then we were gonna stay for dinner, and it's like, oh, but we don't have his feed stuff. I was like, yes, I do. I do have his feed stuff. So that's really helpful. Then you're not quite as limited if you can do a feed without the pump. I highly, highly recommend that you have all of the feed stuff available. Even if you do need the pump, sometimes you forget bits and pieces that you need. And so it's nice to have some backups. So I was trying to think of some other scenarios where I've needed to use this. We've gone out to eat or been at a friend's house and our pump suddenly dies. And then you have all of the things you need, but really the food is in the bag and it's really hard to get it out of there once it's in. And so I just went and got our, I went and got the other formula out of here, and I used that with a syringe, and I just did a push syringe feed, and that worked well. Oh, I got to church one morning and I still needed to do Matthew's tube feed. He had woken up late, and so I was like, I'll just do his tube feed at church. And so I went to do it and realized Ryan didn't pack the pump. I'm like, uh-oh. So I was able to go and get the things that I needed to be able to do a gravity feed from that kit. Things like that. We'll get to a place and I'll realize, oh, I don't have an extension cord, I forgot it, or a syringe or whatever. And I always have backups. Oh, I've also ran out of formula. Like the DME, we didn't have enough, and I had enough stored between my backpack and my car and the emergency kit. I had enough to be able to get us through another day before they could drop ship us another one. that is it for our GTube kits. I hope that was helpful to see the two different kinds of kits that I have and what I use them for. And I hope that it will help you to be able to make your own and be more prepared and not feel like going out in the world is quite as daunting when you have a GTube. I will say that at first it does feel kind of scary, but the more you do it, the easier it gets, just like with basically everything parenting. So just do it, exercise that muscle. It will get easier. You will have mistakes. It will be okay. But the more mistakes you make, the more you learn. So, all right, well, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope it was helpful to you. You can follow us along on Instagram if you would like to. I'll put the handle up here. Give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful, and make sure you subscribe to my channel below. I will also be posting a blog post to go along with this. It'll show pictures and have links to things as well. So if you like to have that for reference, then that will be available to you as well. All right, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.